The Raleigh real estate market is booming and millennials are taking notice. We'll take a look at how they're getting in on the trend.
The school gets your FAFSA information so that they can help determine what you're eligible for.
How the cost of college is causing students to hold off from pursuing their dreams.
Plus, how Raleigh's food scene is helping the city see dollar signs.
Hello and welcome to the 2018 edition of the CBC-UNC Diversity Fellowship. I'm Donnie Holloway.
And I'm Leandra Larson. The Triangle is experiencing a sudden rise within the real estate market.
In Raleigh, the market is topping the charts for best places to purchase a home. The number of homes on the market hit a historic low, driving prices and competition up. The average overall sales price increased 5% over last year.
Courtney Tate is live in downtown Raleigh with more on how millennials are helping with the growing trend.
Millennials here in Raleigh have revamped the real estate market so much that sources are ranking it number 3 for best places to live in 2018. Thanks to its booming tech industry and its high vacancy rate, there's no surprise why Raleigh is the best place to settle down right now.
If you're in the Triangle area, it seems like there's a for sale sign on every block. The real estate market is hot. Burning hot.
You know, the houses really sell themselves. It's you selling your ability to make someone comfortable as you lead them through a process.
Whether you're looking to buy or put your home on the market, realtors such as Frankie Hagan believe 2018 is the perfect time to do it.
I can assume competition is very high right now.
Competition is high, you know, and that's the thing. It's a great time to be a seller, but it's still not a bad time to be a buyer. Interest rates are still historically low, so even though you may have to fight a little harder to get the houses you want, the interest rates being lower basically mean your money is cheaper.
The research shows that the number of owner-occupied homes has increased well over the last 3 years than the number of homes being rented. What's even more significant is the people under the age of 35, which has increased from about 34% of home ownership in 2016 to just over 35% in 2017.
The thing that's happening in the Triangle is we're starting to get the first boom of millennials purchasing houses, you know, and it's a different type of market because they're very internet savvy.
Thanks to Raleigh's booming tech industry, millennials are reviving the market, and many of them are first-time home buyers. And millennials are not only affecting the real estate housing prices, but they are also changing the real estate business itself.
You guys are a generation that don't look at the phone book, don't look at certain other aspects, would rather look at an online tour before you actually go to the house. And so we're basically becoming more and more technologically savvy to make your group happy.
Raleigh rolls out its welcoming mat and gives a warm embrace to those looking to buy a house here in Raleigh. Back to you.
Courtney Tate live in Raleigh, thank you. Donnie, have you noticed all those for sale signs in Raleigh?
Yeah, you know, Leandra, I've seen them popping up everywhere. It seems like they're all over the place. And speaking of the growing real estate trend, tiny homes are also making a splash. The small house movement is a return to houses of less than 1,000 square feet in size. Tiny houses are even smaller, less than 400 square feet. These little houses are the hot trend for millennials and first-time home buyers. Economists say they could have a major impact on the housing market.
An update on the hunt for a second Amazon headquarters. The online retail giant is now in talks with officials from the 20 metro areas named finalists. According to media reports, company officials visited Toronto and Washington, D.C. So far, it hasn't been announced when Amazon reps will be visiting the Triangle. A Bank of America Merrill Lynch report lists Raleigh in the top 5 contenders for HQ2. Atlanta, Boston, Denver, and Washington, D.C. are the 4 other locations at the top. The report lists them alphabetically, not in any order of preference. The analysts won't tell us what their criteria is, saying that information is only available to their clients.
Governor Roy Cooper and several administration officials spent more than $50,000 on a last-minute trip to Japan. The 4-day trip in December was part of a failed bid to convince Toyota and Mazda executives to locate their new car plant in North Carolina. North Carolina offered a $1.5 billion incentive package. The companies ultimately chose Alabama for the site.
Turning now to the flu impact in North Carolina, the virus has killed more than 300 people in our state. Despite passing the peak of the season, the CDC reports the flu is still widespread. Officials have warned the public to continue taking precautions like washing your hands and getting the flu shot.
Are you still paying your student debt? Chances are you aren't the only one. Student debt on average costs $30,000. That's almost equal to the price of 2 small sedans. A recent survey shows more than 1 million North Carolinians have student loans, and 58% of North Carolinian graduates have debt. Alexis Bell met with a student working his way through college. She's live at North Carolina State University in Raleigh.
Student loan debt is rapidly growing, and in a typical household, a mortgage is the #1 debt. And now the Brookings Institution found that student loans ranks #2.
I haven't been able to complete a semester yet without taking out loans.
NC State junior Alex Clement says he put off college for 10 years because he didn't want to waste money figuring out what he wanted to do. Now that he's in college, the debt is piling up.
I try to be mindful of how much I have, loaned to me right now, but I also try not to stress over it too much right now because it's another thing for another day.
According to the Institute of College Success and Access, 68% of bachelor degree earners graduate with about $30,000 in debt. But each year, students fill out this form, the FAFSA, to try to minimize that number.
The FAFSA is a great way to determine what type of need that they're eligible for.
The director of financial aid at William Peace University, Michelle Hemmer, lays out students' options.
This is an investment into your future. Obviously, we want them to choose the grants and scholarships or forward loans, but it is one of those things that sometimes is kind of inevitable for some of our students.
What's the quote you're being asked to think about?
College students are learning a hard lesson about debt. The Brookings Institute estimates nearly $1.4 trillion in loans are currently outstanding. But Clement has a plan of attack.
My plan right now is to graduate when I'm 30, be working, and even if I have to eat rice and ramen noodles and hot dogs for the next 10 years, I plan to have everything paid off by the time I'm 40.
Clement considers himself to be behind the curve, but says better late than never. He is one of thousands of students that all will be or are experiencing the same thing.
Alexis Bell live in Raleigh.
Wake Tech's newest food pantry is now open at the Beltline Education Center. It's one of the 4 campus locations. In 2016, 41% of Wake Tech students consider themselves to be food insecure, meaning they lacked funds or access to affordable and healthy food. So far, more than 1,300 students have used these food banks.
Wake County Meals on Wheels volunteers and recipients are concerned about federal budget cuts that could affect the service. Meals on Wheels is a program that delivers meals to individuals at home who are unable to purchase or prepare their own meals. Wake County's program serves 1,300 meals every weekday. Without funding, the service would have to cut the amount of people they serve and do more fundraising. To learn ways to help contribute to this program, go to our website, WRAL.com, search fellowship. Coming up next, the ongoing issue with the DACA program and how it's hitting home.
With the March 5th DACA deadline long gone, many North Carolinians are concerned with the future of the work permit program. Coming up, I'll show you how some young activists are keeping the future bright for the beneficiaries of this program.
And how cell phone addiction can lead to mental health problems in teens. North Carolina is home to thousands of DACA recipients, and the fight for a resolution to the rescinded program is still in full effect. Christian Galeno is live at North Carolina State University to explain how their future is uncertain.
Across the nation, DACA recipients are living in much uncertainty since they don't know if they'll still be here in the fall to go to college.
Viviana Mateo and Nicole Aldana are not your typical high school seniors.
As a senior, I should be worrying about it. Like, oh, what dress do I want to wear? What am I going to do for graduation? My graduation party, right?
The need to escape danger and poverty in Latin America brought these teenagers to the land of the free at a very young age. But the feeling of being free is one that they rarely experience.
I have to sell my innocence because I came when I was 1. So this is the only country I know, the only state I know. I've grown up here my whole life. So for people to say I can't get in-state tuition when I've lived here my whole life, it's very confusing for me.
In the United States, there are a total of 690,000 unauthorized immigrants benefiting from the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA. North Carolina is home to 27,000 recipients, making it the 7th state with the most temporary work permits, a benefit of DACA. Raul Pinto works with the North Carolina Justice Center to educate the undocumented community about the options they have.
Folks have to really think about their own situation. I think that they should be thinking about it, talking to immigration attorneys, not talking to notarios about it. That's a big problem here in North Carolina, so that they can see the circumstances that they have in front of them.
DACA recipients in Raleigh and the entire nation are left in the dark and with much uncertainty, but through the work of young activists and their sacrifice, the future looks a lot brighter for the hopeful few.
Mateo and Aldana participated in the Death of Dreams rally that took place on March 6th in Raleigh and continued to advocate for a Clean Dream Act at the national level.
And a lot of people think that, oh, the dreamers, the illegals are like such a far away and not close to home, but those are your neighbors, like those are your friends, whether they're open about it or not. And that's the thing that pushes me to do this, because a lot of people are so scared.
I'm a human, like I grew up here, like this is the country I know. So for people to say like, oh no, you're not from here, I'm like, what makes the difference? Because came here when I was 1, getting what we truly want, our basic human rights.
Both teams we spoke with were able to find local resources to help them pursue their professional goals while they wait for questions surrounding DACA to be resolved.
Christian Galeno live in Raleigh, thank you.
Would you want to take a nonstop flight from China to RDU? Airport officials, business and community leaders have talked about the possibility of direct flights to China. Experts say this would boost tourism and business interests. RDU currently has flights to 4 international locations: Toronto, London, Paris, and Cancun. Officials are hoping to add China to that list. Marketing experts say an effort like this could take 3 to 7 years.
If you're looking for a place to move and be happy, try Finland. The World Happiness Report named Finland the happiest country on earth. The annual report weighs factors like income, life expectancy, social support, freedom, and generosity. Finland also had the happiest immigrants. Norway came in second, followed by Denmark and Iceland. Switzerland came in 5th. The United States was 18th.
Families are facing a growing problem: teens hooked on their phones. A recent study says 1 out of 2 teenagers is addicted to a phone.
Jasmine Aduse is live in Raleigh with more on what you need to look out for.
I'm sure you see it all the time. People always on their cell phones, but high school teachers see it all the time. And it doesn't just affect learning and relationships.
How valuable is your cell phone? This man was willing to chase his down a storm drain.
I got out of the car and it just fell down there. I had it in my hand. I just watched it drop.
Everywhere you look, you see people with a phone in their hands. Experts believe that electronic device dependency can begin early.
There's all the symptoms of addiction. Withdrawal symptoms.
UNC Rex Healthcare pediatricians Dr. Linda Colozo and Dr. Soma Jonkuddy say they often counsel parents about controlling screen time. Without setting boundaries, the long-term effects can be unhealthy.
That's been shown to definitely decrease their ability to cope. Increased rates of depression.
There should be protected time during the day where there's time for exercise, where there's time for family time.
I think it controls a lot of college students' lives.
For many college students, their smartphone is a lifeline.
Yeah, without it, I'd be pretty much lost.
Sabil Wadan calls her phone her most important school supply.
Usually the first thing I do when I wake up is check my emails, like hoping class is canceled.
Students say that cell phones have become a major part of their lives, to the point of addiction. But it can also turn into a dangerous distraction.
If you're distracted by a device, you're not as safe as you could be or probably should be.
Jeff Hammerstein with Wake County EMS often sees the tragic results of drivers distracted by their phones. He says it comes down to a personal decision.
Promise yourself not to engage in cell phone conversations on the phone while you're driving.
While checking emails, texts, or even social media, many of us fall victim to using our phones at the worst time. Cell phone addiction is a habit we all need to break. Back to you.
Thanks, Jasmine Aduse.
You know, Leandra, we use them all the time. Do you ever feel like you use your phone too much?
Yeah, you have yours there, mine's right here, so I think everyone can use it a little bit less.
Yeah, we really can.
For more resources on how to cut your child's time on their cell phone, visit our website at WRAL.com.
A new dining concept that's set to come to Raleigh will now open later than originally thought. Find out when you'll get to enjoy Morgan Street Food Hall next. Plus,
Raleigh is becoming a foodie capital. What's making it a hot spot? Coming up. All right, my friend.
A Raleigh restaurant owner is a finalist for Outstanding Chef in the Country at the annual James Beard Foundation Awards.
Ashley Christensen is the chef that is up for an award known as the Oscar of Food. Christensen owns Pools Diner, Death and Taxes, and Beasley's and Chuck's. She was named WRAL.com Voters' Choice Awards Woman of the Year in January.
Christensen's recognition is bringing success to Raleigh's food scene. Different types of restaurants and bars are popping up all over the city. Alexa Lorenzo is in downtown Raleigh to tell us what this means for the capital.
This was Christensen's first restaurant in downtown Raleigh, and through the years, she opened up another one down that way and a third one a couple blocks that way. Her success is bringing more foot traffic to the downtown Raleigh area, and because of that, more restaurants are popping up nearby.
For Chef Anthony Guerra, deciding to enter the restaurant business was easy as pie.
Growing up my whole life, I've always enjoyed pizzerias. Close to the house, the local one, and also the nationally acclaimed ones.
He knew Raleigh was the perfect spot to open one of his very own.
Raleigh's becoming a food destination because independent operators are opening up their dreams. They're opening up unique restaurants that are driving at something.
Guerra's dream is simple.
Pizza.
With good pepperoni and a family atmosphere.
It's a community space as much as it is a pizza place.
Raleigh is becoming a food hub, and all the restaurants are contributing to the city's success.
When you've got good restaurants, things just gravitate, and events will gravitate. I mean, we have a lot of festivals that happen downtown.
Kathy Hanrahan makes her living being out and about. She's tracked Raleigh's food scene for more than 5 years.
I mean, when downtown Raleigh sees one chef doing well and one restaurant's doing well, all the restaurants around it, people start going and growing, and it's amazing.
In general, the Triangle and Raleigh is kind of becoming a food mecca.
And Oakwood Pizza Box is just a slice of Raleigh's growing food scene.
Everybody's open to pushing forward and developing this scene. I think that's what makes this special. I think it's different than other cities because it is so communal.
In 2016, the New York Post named Durham the foodie capital of the South, but some say Raleigh is making its way to the top.
Alexa Lorenzo live in Raleigh.
Foodies will not have to wait until later this year before they get a taste of the Morgan Street Food Hall. Different food and beverage retailers will be located in the space at the corner of Morgan and West Streets. Owner Niall Hanley told WRAL that he originally wanted to open this summer. A statement says owners have signed leases for all the major tenants and are now working toward meeting city and county inspections.
Demolition of a processing plant in Raleigh is part of a plan to give a boost to the city's southern gateway. This is a rendering of what the area around the Cargill plant could look like when fully developed. The plant is being demolished between South Wilmington and South Blunt Streets. City planners want to make improvements to the area to capitalize on the unique view of the Raleigh skyline. Thanks so much for tuning in to this special newscast produced by the fellows participating in the CBC-UNC Diversity Fellowship. I'm Donnie Holloway.
And I'm Leandra Larson. Have a great day.